Welcome, welcome into the television version of Strategies for Living. I'm marriage and family therapist David McMillan. I'm delighted that you've tuned in. Join with me today here on Strategies for Living. Well, we're all about helping us live healthier, happier, more peaceful lives in our bodies, in our minds, in our spirits, in our relationships here in the 21st century. We're going to cover all those bases to get today, C.L. Bryant. Thank you for being here.
I'm really happy to be here with you, David, and thank you for the invitation.
A fresh, new conservative voice
Yes.
on the radio.
Yes.
News Radio 710 Keel.
Yes.
My home for many years.
Oh, yeah.
Many years on the
do
radio. And you've hit a home run to begin with.
Well, we're doing the very best that we can, the fresh, new conservative voice. Hopefully a bridge to the conversation that Americans have around their kitchen tables, but yet we don't talk about them publicly. Areas of race, areas of politics that we don't venture into because sometimes the face that's talking about it is taboo. And so we put a fresh, new conservative face on it that does rival Rush.
Well, so, yeah, I was going to ask you, CL, because, Rush and Moon and Mark Levin and Sean Hannity, you are a fresh new voice. Why did we need a fresh new voice? We've got some old voices.
Well, yeah, and that's just the problem. The voices are old and the message sometimes becomes stale. Not calling my friend Rush stale or my friend Moon stale, but there is a unique qualification that I bring to this conversation. One, I am the former president of the NAACP in Garland, Texas, 23 years ago. But my politics changed along the way.
I would say so. We were teasing a little bit about the camera angle. Don't put me to the left with CL here. If you're going to do anything, put me in the center or to the right. You've shifted.
Yes,
You've shifted a little bit. How did that happen?
Historically, when I look at where our people, black people in particular, have come from and how we got to where we are, there are some things that we have left behind.
Like what, CL?
Our core values, our conservative core values. Our grandparents, in this case, my great-grandparents, would not recognize who we are or how we got here. Some of the things that we vote for as black people in this country, our people would think that we'd certainly lost our minds, and surely we've lost our way.
Do you hear that from some people? Do you hear people who listen to you on News Radio 710 Keel or on Radio Pup and say, "You've left us. You've lost your mind"?
Well, I hear that a lot.
Hear that?
Oh, sure, I hear that a lot, especially 6 years ago when I became a part of the grassroots movement, Tea Party as some people call it, Freedom Works as some people call it. Many in my former circle said, "Man, what happened to you?" What happened to me is that I woke up. And what happened to is happening to too many of us is that we have fallen asleep. And we're not wanting to see the path that we're on. It's easy to see when you look at Detroit, when you look at Baltimore, when you look at Ferguson, when you look at the type of crime rates that are going on in the black community, the fatherless homes in the black community, it's easy to see that we have lost our way. And that's what I'm talking about when I say that our grandparents, our great-grandparents would surely think that we've lost our minds. And so that's why the voice has to be heard, the fresh, new conservative voice. And that's what the C.L. Bryant Show is about doing, being that clarion call for us to wake up. Because if you say it, you're a racist. I don't mind being called the names that I've been called. And there have been some ugly names that I've been called. But I just want black folks, American folks, to know that I love the folks enough to tell us the truth about what's slapping us in the face.
You're a man of courage.
I should hope so.
Did you decide to do that? Now, you've done a lot of things. You mentioned the president of NAACP. You've made movies.
Yeah.
In fact, you kind of hit a home run with the last movie that you made.
Runaway Slave was seen in limited release across the nation. It's been mentioned in the same breath of the top 10 documentaries ever made. You can get it on Amazon. It was one that has everyone in it, from Dr. Thomas Sowell to Al Sharpton to Glenn Beck to Andrew Breitbart. It was one of those types of films that did in fact challenge the consciousness of America, in the sense that the progressive liberal design that has been on one community, the black community, for over 60 years has led us to a point that we really won't return from if we don't turn around now. And of course, I have not been, even though I've met the president's a very nice guy, all that, $1 million smile, all of that.
Right.
But this president has not been good for the black community. And unfortunately, when you say that, maybe not now, but when you have said that back in 2008, 2009, when I was saying it, when I was warning our community of where this administration would lead us,
yeah.
You suffered a lot of flack. You came under a lot of fire. But now, nearly 8 years later, I think that there is an awakening that is going on in the black community, and so many come to me clandestinely, David, and say, you know what, CL, you were right. Because they don't see anything. When he talks about various policies in this country, black people are sitting there listening to see, what is he going to say about us? What is he going to say about our condition? The warning that I gave 8 years ago is true today. And so whatever difficulties, whatever peril that I have faced over that period of time, I think it's well worth it.
So did the program, was it evolutionary or was it revolutionary? Did it just come to you, or did it evolve slowly in your mind, especially with your media background, the movie background? And by the way, you're making another movie now.
Yeah, Red, White, and Black.
Wow.
Red, White, and Black will be coming out in 2016. Hopefully it will be. You know how that is,
Sure.
making any type of film. It takes a lot of pieces coming together, but that's what we have in plan. To answer your question, it was a little bit of both, David. It was evolutionary and revolutionary as well. I was approached by some to go on radio, didn't really want to do that.
Right.
It's a lot of time, as you know, doing
yes.
this, it's a lot of time to do it right.
Yes.
Anyone can go on radio and,
Sure.
and run their mouth.
You can open the mic and there you go.
Right.
But to do it the way you're doing it,
Yeah, to do it
you've
right.
got to prepare for that
You
program.
have
I
to
know
prepare.
you prepare every day. I can hear it.
And I have a great team with me. Rick
hear that
Keller
too.
And Michelle are very, very good team. But it was revolutionary in the sense that we were going to say it. We were going to go on and, as the old saying go, dog on the torpedoes. We're going to go full steam ahead. And we'll take whatever flack comes. And I thank all of the sponsors who have signed
You
on to
sound
help
like
us.
you're sold out.
We are. We're a sold out show. And, but of course, we do welcome anyone who wants to support the C.L. Bryant Show. But it has been a great ride in a very short time.
Yes, it's been amazing so far to hear the progression, and man, you sound today. If people listen in the afternoon, News Radio 710 Keel, you come on at
5:30.
5:30, and you're on from 5:30 until
7:30.
7:30. 2-hour show now.
2-hour show.
We're going to go to 3 hours before too long.
3
I hope.
hours, not long. I don't know how Dr. Levin's going to like that, but we'll see what happens.
But to hear the progression and tuning in now, CL, it sounds to me like you've been doing this forever.
Well, there was, I've pastored 3 churches around the country over a 30-year period of time, and I did gospel radio way back, but that's totally different.
Totally different from this genre that we are in
Totally
now
different.
called talk radio.
Right, and so in order to become comfortable with it, you really have to get to like it. And at first, I wasn't sure if I liked it. We came on under a different name, America on the Edge.
Yes.
And so we evolved, talking about the evolution. We evolved to where I would have to wear and take responsibility for it as C.L. Bryant, brand it the way I branded the movie,
Yes.
the way I brand my own personal
Yes.
personality.
Yes.
And so that has worked.
Yes. Well, I think that makes sense to me. You stand up and you say, this is my opinion. This is what I think. And again, to lead, and as the president, the CEO of the C.L. Bryant Show, you're a lot of people are listening to you. As you know, on talk radio, there's two large groups. There's the people that tune in because they love you, and they're going to listen. And then, you know this as well as I do,
Oh, absolutely.
there's the people that tune in because they don't like you so much.
Right.
And those are the ones that are listening because they're
Right.
ready to get fired
They're
up
ready to
every
fight.
day.
They're ready to fight, David. And I get those calls too. And I welcome those calls because
I like the way you handle those calls,
thank you.
too.
Thank you.
Again, it sounds to me like you've been doing this 100 years. Or no, you haven't. I know it's just been a short period of time.
We've prepared for it. I guess the volume of my life has basically prepared me for it. Out at LSUS, when it was still in the cotton field, we had the old shack.
Yes, I
there.
remember those. I remember those. I was out there in those days.
I was a debater out there at that time. Dr. Frank Lauer was our debate coach there in Fair Park High School. Tim Brando
Yes.
was my debate partner.
Wow.
In fact, our first year at LSUS.
What year did you finish your degree at LSU?
I didn't get my degree from there. My degree eventually came from Tampa.
Okay. But what year were you out at
74 through 76.
We were out at the same time.
Is that right?
Yeah, we were out
Rick
there. At the
Rowe
same,
and,
oh yeah,
and was
sure.
out there at that time too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
We ran around.
Dr. Cloud,
yeah.
Dr. Dean McBride, all of them were very instrumental in my life.
Okay. So you're homegrown then.
Yes, this is my home. I was born and raised right here in Shreveport, Louisiana. 74, graduate of Fair Park High School.
74 graduate of Jesuit High School.
Really?
Yeah, we
You
played.
knew some- we knew some people.
We knew some folks together. C.L. Bryant is our life strategist today. Brand new radio, fresh conservative voice on the radio. News Radio 710 Keel, 5:30 this afternoon. You got to tune in to the C.L. Bryant Show. He is our life strategist today. We've got much more with C.L. Stay right where you are. More strategies for living to come.
In 1977, in Johannesburg, South Africa, an 8-year-old boy picked up the game of golf from his father. By the age of 9, he was already outplaying him. The odds of this gentle lad winning the Junior World Golf Championships at the age of 14, 1 in 16 million. The odds of that same boy then making it to the US and European Pro Golf Tours, 1 in 7 million. The odds of the Big Easy winning the Open Championship once and the US Open Championship twice, 1 in 780 million. The odds of this professional golfer having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 110. Ernie Els encourages you to learn the signs of autism at autismspeaks.org. Early diagnosis can make a lifetime of difference.
Action. Take 4.
In the kitchen, that's not what she said. That's what 1,297.
What?
Guys, help me!
And welcome back into the television version of Strategies for Living. You're obviously watching Strategies, but don't forget, it all began on the radio, C.L. Bryant, News
remember.
Radio 710 Keel,
Yeah.
back in 1993. So we've been doing it a long time.
I remember.
And we're still on News Radio 710 Keel, 9:05 to 10 every Sunday morning. You can tune in and listen to Strategies for Living. You can also obviously watch us right here. You can read us in the Shreveport Times every Wednesday in the Voices section, and about 600, 700 archive shows at www.strategiesforliving.com. You can always listen to us, and you can listen to this gentleman, a new, fresh conservative voice on News Radio 710 Keel, 5:30 every afternoon, the C.L. Bryant Show.
Yes, sir.
He's our life strategist today. Thank you for being here,
Well,
C.L.
thank you so much for the invitation, David.
And I want to get into, because you talk a lot on the air about FreedomWorks.
Yeah.
And you are a senior fellow
Yes.
of FreedomWorks in Washington, D.C.
Yes, I am.
I know I hear you on the road again. I think we need to play the Willie Nelson song for you, because I hear you. I hear you here, I hear you there, I hear you in the Capitol. So tell us about FreedomWorks.
FreedomWorks is the largest grassroots organization in the country. We boast
Grassroots
Yes.
of the people.
of the people.
Okay.
We boast 6.9 million activists that we have in the field right now. We are responsible for the largest march ever on Washington, D.C. back in 2009.
Wow.
When 1.5 million Americans descended upon the Capitol to talk about the TARP bill and to challenge Obamacare that was about to come
Yes,
in.
yes.
And I had the opportunity to speak to that 1.5
Wow.
million. Just Google C.L. Bryant, Washington, D.C. 209, and you can hear that speech. And we have a new CEO, Adam Brandon, is our new president and CEO, and he's doing great work taking the organization in a direction that I think will allow it to be a
What
bridge
is
to the
FreedomWorks'
future.
mission, CO? What is it here for?
The mission is to preach lower taxes, less government interference in our lives, the free market, and of course more freedom for American citizens. That is the essence of what our Constitution is designed for us. And you'll find that we have been involved in quite a few things around the country. We're putting on a forum in Iowa on the 5th of December where we have most of the presidential candidates who will be there. I'll be speaking at that as well. In fact, I'll be coming to you from there.
Let's do a kind of a rapid fire thing here. I'm going to throw out a word or a name and just give me a response.
Sure.
Hillary Clinton.
Leftist.
Donald Trump.
Showman.
Ben Carson.
Brilliant.
Jeb Bush.
Has been.
Okay, so sounds to me like you like Mr. Carson. You like Dr. Carson.
I like Dr. Carson, but I like others. I've met Ben, Dr. Ben as I call him. I've done several venues with him. And in fact, my pastor, Pastor James McMinnis of Word of God Ministries,
Yes.
we brought him here for a men's conference a couple of years ago.
Yes.
And before then, I had done a few, before he ever thought about running for president, Candy and my wife and Ben, we knew each other. And so I think he is a brilliant, brilliant man.
Can he handle the White House? Would he make a good president for us? Would he make a good leader and chief executive and commander-in-chief for all of us?
I would say absolutely. Is that the field that he should play in at this time? He thinks so. Are there others who might play better Maybe so, maybe not, but I think he's better than many. I won't call it many names, but he's better than many in the field, and he's certainly better than the president in the White House now.
Do you think he's going to be the nominee?
He has the great opportunity to be that if he can hold down the type of rhetoric that is flaring up even as we speak. Politics, as you well know, David, is a tank of piranhas. And unless
it's a tough business,
it
dirty
really
business.
is. It really is. And unless you have the teeth to bite back, you can be devoured. And that's what I'm hoping doesn't happen to him as he journeys along this path. I also look at Ted Cruz. I look at a Marco Rubio as well. I think Carly Fiorina has shown up very well. I think any one of them will be better than Hillary Clinton.
Do you think Hillary will be the Democratic nominee?
No question about it, unless she just absolutely falls flat on her face over something. She's going to be the nominee for the Democrat Party.
Okay. And can Republicans, whether it's Dr. Carson, whether it's Donald Trump, whether it's Marco Rubio, whether it's Ted Cruz, can a Republican candidate mount a campaign that will defeat Hillary Clinton?
If we don't devour ourselves, if Republicans don't devour themselves in the process, if Donald Trump doesn't make mincemeat out of those who could actually leave the country, I think, yes, they can. But if they wound each other in ways that is irreparable, Hillary Clinton will be the next president of the United States.
Do you worry, CL, about the psychology of all of this? I'm kind of getting into both of our areas here. I look at the turnout of our last, our gubernatorial, and now granted, it was a nasty day. And I don't know what the weather is predicted to be like at the general election a couple of weeks from now. But the turnout, rain or shine, has not been stellar in Louisiana.
No.
For local or for national.
Right.
Probably you have to go back to the election of Barack Obama in 2008. I think that may have been the largest turnout that we had in our area and across the nation. What do you make of that in terms of the psychology, the psyche of the electorate?
People have become disengaged in ways, David, that it takes celebrity these days.
Are we disengaged, or are we are we disenchanted? Have we totally lost hope?
Disenchanted does definitely fall into that mix when you're baking that cake, for sure. But they have disengaged in the sense that we are now looking for someone to plug us in again. And it's an emotional plug-in instead of a cerebral plug-in. Americans don't think for themselves anymore.
What happened?
We became programmed, and you and I are of the generation, and I hate to say this, but I think perhaps if we're not careful and if we don't pass something on to our children here very quickly, we will be the last generation of analytical thinkers.
Do you worry about a Bernie Sanders out there? I don't think he can get the nomination, but he's out there, and you know, when we grew up, we would run somebody that called themselves a socialist out of town on a rail. He's proudly proclaiming it. Do you worry about that?
Bernie is proof. Senator Sanders is proof that we are programmed to emotion. Donald Trump is proof that we're programmed to emotion.
They're just on opposite
sides of the ledger, and in fact, polar opposites.
Yes.
And somewhere in the middle is where we live as people, whether you're Democrat, Republican, somewhere in the middle, that flyover country, is where the true Americans live in this country. And so if someone like a Ben Carson or a Ted Cruz comes along and speaks to that middle, an analytical middle, we once again will have sanity, I hope, in Washington. Well, not
Do
in Washington,
you have
D.C.
hope, CL?
Yes, because I believe in this nation. I believe that America is the greatest success story the world has ever known. As the great-grandson of a former slave, my story could not be told in any other country. And I believe whether your ancestors came here on the Mayflower or if they came here in the hulls of slave ships like mine did, in the DNA of every true American is a thirst for liberty and freedom, and that's why I did the movie Runaway Slave.
Well said. Well done. You are a fresh, new conservative voice,
Well, thank you.
and one that it's time. It's time. I teasingly ask you, why do we need another voice? I think today is obvious why we need that fresh conservative voice.
Well, thank you so much for having me on here today with you, David.
What's next for the C.L. Bryant Show? More. Are we going to continue to hear you evolve and grow?
Well, I certainly hope so. I hope we evolve into more stations around the country. We're looking at becoming a national show based here in Shreveport,
That's going to
Louisiana.
happen.
I certainly hope so, David.
And thank you for basing in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Absolutely.
Maybe we'll have another show or two like Strategies for Living. Do the same thing and follow your lead.
Well, I certainly hope you can.
And we'll ask you folks, if you have not tuned in to the C.L. Bryant Show, News Radio 710 Keel, 5:30 to 7:30, each and every weekday afternoon, then you've got to find the fresh, new conservative voice. The lines are open, 520-5336.
That's it. You remember.
I remember. It hadn't been all that long ago. So you gotta check out. If you have not tuned into the C.L. Bryant Show on News Radio 710 Keel, please tune in. You can also, of course, find News Radio 710 Keel on Radio Pup. So if you're not in the area, you can still listen to the C.L. Bryant Show and all of the great offerings on News Radio 710 Keel, including Strategies for Living on Sundays between 9:05 and 10. And for C.L. Bryant, I'm marriage and family therapist David McMillan. Thank you for tuning in to Strategies for Living today, and we'll see you next time right here on Strategies for Living.